Okay, this is how you sell a book. We will see in just a second how Patrick Bet-David will push his new book. Right now he's interviewing Alexei Arestovich, who was the personal assistant to President Vladimir Zelensky in Kiev, Ukraine. Now Alexei is in hiding. He's in exile. He is hiding from the law because he, basically went against his master. So watch in just a second how Patrick will be selling his book. And the energy and everything else, this is the approach, how you present your book. Let's watch it together. I'm going to add a few comments in just a little bit.
We called him names, got to intrude into Kursk Oblast, and we did many times things that undermine Ukraine's image as the country that really desires peace. Now, the Prime Minister of Hungary spoke twice about the Christmas truce and exchanging prisoners of war, and our government very harshly reacted to that, saying nobody authorized Orban to do that. So for Zelensky and his emotional heat, I don't know if he noticed this, but they are painting him as the only public political figure who is against stopping the war. And I am warning them publicly through my direct statements. And I'm sure that they are watching me in Zelensky's office. Look what they're doing to you. They are constantly putting you in a position of people who are against stopping the war. And you're the victim side. Putin, on your background, begins looking like an adequate, reasonable person who is offering peace, of course, on his own conditions and achieving what he wants, his goals. But this is a very dangerous road, and he is outplaying us.
You're going to think I'm crazy when I tell you this, but the last 13 and a half years, I've been working on my first fiction book to write, ever. Fiction book to write. And while I finished this book a year ago, I got the strangest phone call about one of the characters in the book where the guy wanted to meet with me, and he read the book. And afterwards was like, wait a minute, am I the villain in the book? This is a story about a character named Asher, who is half Armenian, half Assyrian, whose father was involved in the Iranian Revolution, linked to Savak, working with the Shah, that they escape, and he gets recruited to a secret society. Well, when you go to the secret society, it's been around for a couple thousand years. They've developed some of the craziest leaders of all time, and they test you. There's unique tests that they have at the society where they test to see your emotional mental toughness. One of the tests that they have is very rigorous. It's purely mental. Of course, there's a physical one, but one is mental and emotional. If you're Armenian, if you're Syrian, if you're Persian, this is a book you're going to be reading and saying, holy moly, this is the kind of stuff you talk about in here? Yes. If you're somebody that's fascinated by history, this is a book for you. Characters. There's a technology that this society, secret society, builds where you go into a vault. I won't spoil it for you. When you go down, they have a technology where you get to sit down and watch and have a 3-4 hour conversation with Tupac. You can set up a debate between Karl Marx and Ayn Rand. Karl Marx is in the book, who wrote Communist Manifesto. Ayn Rand, who wrote Atlas Shrugged, is in the book. Marilyn Monroe explains the concept of seduction and sex in the book. When you read the book, it's about development of the next leaders in the world and how they do it and how they've been doing it for many years. And it's also about how to prevent the end of civilization and how this organization goes about doing it. So, I've never written a parenting book before, but if I ever wrote a parenting book, this is the closest thing to it because it's all mindset, a lot of crazy stories. Again, 13 and a half years. Trust me, I told myself I will not publish this book until I sell my insurance company and I'm fully disconnected from it, where it's no longer my responsibility 100%. When you read this, if you're a creative person, if you like fiction books, if you enjoyed Atlas Shrugged, or if you enjoy Divergent, if you like books like that, I think you're gonna enjoy reading this book. It's the creative side. Business books is very easy. Here's how you do it. Here's how this how it works. This is very creative. If you haven't placed the order yet, now you can order it on Simon & Schuster, Amazon. I'm gonna put the link up below somewhere here, maybe even in my profile. Go order the book. I've never written a book where I can't wait to read your reviews to see what you think about this book. So I'm going on this wild journey, and we have some plans with this book here. If you support the things that I work on, I would appreciate you going and reading the book, order the book on Amazon, and then post a review.
So how do you think it's going to end? Do you think, let's just say the negotiation does take place. Trump gets in, they're having a meeting. It's just no question about it. They're going to have a visit. He's going to go over there and have this sit down the conversation. When they do, what do you think will happen with the territory and regions? You think Putin is going to get what he wants?
I think that the real terms for talks, it would be freezing it on the line of fire that exists today. Putin will not go to talks with Zelensky. I think that's 100%. He's not going to go only if Zelensky is re-elected again, because Putin is a lawyer and he has this lawyery thinking. He always prefers to achieve to be reduced to.
So let's analyze how this interview went between Patrick Bet-David, who is an former insurance salesman. Now he runs this podcast with millions of views, and Alexei Arestovich, a former advisor to President Zelensky in Kiev, Ukraine. So the verdict is this: Patrick was trying to pitch his book, his new book, The Academy. Overall, it's okay, but there were several major issues with it, like the way he laughed. There is no reason to laugh like that. That's number one. Number two, he mispronounces several keywords in English. He came from Iran at the age of 12, and he still has this "the thing is" or "secret society." See, those things like that give him away as from the hoodlums or something like that, uneducated person. So no educated person in the world would give him 30 seconds of their time, meaning nobody will even listen to a speech like that. The thing is. It's the thing is society, not society. And when people hear that, they say, why can he afford to hire a coach? His wife is an American-born woman. Why doesn't she correct his English? Because that's noticeable. She could correct him. She doesn't. He needs to hire a voice coach to correct these things if he wants to appeal to an educated audience. So what does he have? He appeals to the common denominator, or the non-educated audience. He might be a hero for them. What do they care? What do they know? By the way, Alexei Arestovich might be the future president of Ukraine. He says in this interview, which, by the way, the interview was great, that he is actually going to try to run for president. Even though he is in exile, he's going to do his very best to run for president of Ukraine, whenever that might be. So, smart guy. He was a former actor, psychologist, and military intelligence officer. So, watch the interview. This is how you sell a book. I would give it a minus because of those issues I just mentioned, how Patrick pitched his book. He needs to get a voice coach. You can't laugh like that, like a maniac, when you sell your book. What the hell was that? The verdict is he didn't flunk it, he didn't fail it. It just, you got to be serious. Like Carlton Sheets when he was selling his courses and making $300 million per year. Look at Carlton Sheets, how he looked at camera. That's how you sell. Patrick was great, but it could improve. So anyway, see you at the very top. This is how you sell a book. If you need coaching, how you could sell your book, you get back to us. We'll train you. We'll fix you up. We'll help you sell your book. Take care. See you at the top.